Welcome everyone to Cinema Spotlight. We are starting with a new director, and that is Guillermo Del Toro. We will be covering his first two short films, Dona Lupe and Geometry, before we reach into his feature film, Cronos. I know that I announced in my Ready Player One review that I will be starting with Cronos, but that was before I realized I wasn't doing research well, and that was not technically his first film. I cover short films for these directors as often as I can, and if I can, because Dona Lupe and Geometry are available out of the 10 short films Guillermo has made, and the first 8 remain unreleased. Dona Lupe is about a widowed woman in financial trouble. She rents out her room to 2 policemen who become quickly unruly and suspicious. At one point, Dona Lupe has had enough and takes matters into her own hands. This first short film is 33 minutes long. It flows well as far as the story goes, and I really don't have issues with it, as Guillermo has expressively stated that he hated the quality and had issues with a production throughout. While I would say I didn't love this one, I rather like seeing the roots of Guillermo's style come to life. There is very little supernatural or disturbing elements here, but if you pay attention, it's there. There's just the dash. And as far as I could tell for what Del Toro was going for, he shot this in respects of a comic book. So you'll see little tiny cards that say continued at the bottom, or next page, or later that day. Seeing that, I didn't quite get it until after I listened to Guillermo's commentary, and it wasn't until after he explained that that was what he was going for. It really helped my perspective because I didn't understand the culture that he grew up with. But, as I always say, insight goes a very long way. In the end, this was a nifty little short that you can appreciate the craft Del Toro now owns and works very well with. Again, with the likes of Amblin by Steven Spielberg and now by, Guillermo saying Dona Lupe, it's a bit inspiring to see these small films pave the way towards bigger careers and helps people like myself who really wants to make films feel like it's possible. I say see it, and if you don't like it, I would love to know, and if you do like it, tell me regardless. I like this one, however, Guillermo, as far as I know, does not like this one at all. Moving on to Geometry, which I'll just call it by its American way because I do not know how to pronounce geometry in Spanish correctly. It's an 8-minute or 6-minute short depending on which cut of the film you see, and it's about a boy who is failing at geometry and is heckled by his mother. Desiring to do better, the boy vows to never fail at geometry again. Okay, I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna tell you that I straight up loved this one. Both versions. Regardless of how shorter the other one was far more polished with weird AVR, additional voice recording, and the other was much more grungy and a lower quality with a totally different score. So you know that the score was redone and the later cleanup. It has actually some good practical effects, and it shows off pretty well for the story, and it's just enough where the effect is remaining intact. And I'm even going to say there's a small aspect of the film that I wasn't expecting that I will not reveal here because I think you'd need to see it for yourself. It's kind of funny, clever in a twisted way, and the way it ends, I just absolutely loved. I beamed ear to ear. It's a bit gruesome, I will tell you. So if you're a bit squeamish or you don't like that kind of stuff, I would say avoid. But in the end, without much more to say, this was a real treat to watch. If I can speak. It was a treat to watch. The quality for both little films, I'd say, really are a bit grungy. They're not that well, but I'd say they have the best of intentions. And I think that's what makes both Dona Lupe and Geometry work. It's endearing despite the low quality, but they're both down to earth enough with the right amount of campy that I don't have to take it too seriously. And that works for me because I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. And while it worked for me, I definitely say check them out and let me know what you think. Alright, I thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys are ready for this new director that I'm going to do. Dona Lupe and Geometry are now in the books in my reviewing roster. If you have seen it, let me know down in the comments. Be kind, be reasonable, and let's talk. Like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell so you don't miss another video. With all that said, I hope you all have a fantastic and wonderful day. Until next time.